In this video, we're going to go over the feature symbology of our feature definition for existing boundary. Right now I have the feature definition selected for existing boundary, and if we look at the terrain tab and the parameter of surface feature symbology, it has a feature surface symbology of existing boundary. We're going to scroll down and find that under the feature symbologies group, feature symbologies category, the surface group that has a subcategory of terrain and existing boundary. We select that feature symbology. That's going to bring up the properties dialog for the existing boundary, and these will have selection group with a parameter of name, and that's going to be the name of what we have selected for the feature symbology. That's existing boundary. We have a default tab, which is a parameter of default element template, where we would select the element template that we want to use as default. For this example, it's in a terrain category, and the element template name is existing boundary. We'll take a look at that later on. We have a profile tab with two parameters of element template and annotation group, and anything below the defaults tab will be overrides. If we wanted the profile to look different than our default, we would set an element template here. For this example, it's set to none, but we do have an annotation group set. So this will display in the profile view existing strip grades. So this is where you would want to set your annotation group for existing ground terrain surfaces that we have. So they will display in the sheets of your profile. Last, we have a 3D tab with one element template, which right now it's set to none. So if we wanted to display the terrain differently than the default, we would use this 3D tab and this element template parameter as an override to the default. So let me go ahead and select a different terrain element template just to show you. So we have different element templates set up. So if I pick existing contours, that's going to override the default element template, which is existing boundaries. So it's now looking at the existing contours. And in this element template, we have contours turned on. So let me move that back to none. So now it's not reading the element template out of the 3D. It's using the default as the default element template. So just to review the properties of our existing boundary, the selection tab has a parameter of name. That's going to be the name of the element or the symbology selected. The defaults tab has a parameter of default element template. We always want to set the default element template. It will also have a profile tab with parameters element template and annotation group. So if we wanted a different element template to look in the profile view, we would set that here. But we do want to set the annotation group so we can display things like strip grade on our existing ground or existing terrain. And then we come to the 3D tab with an element template parameter. This would use to override the default if we wanted it to be displayed differently. Or we could match the existing so we're covered.